This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No. Nope.
This
Just
is
stop.
a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll.
Welcome to DBL. Happy Friday, everybody. Look at this little sweet treat we got at the end of the table there. Samantha Shocker.
You're talking about me.
Yeah, me too.
Al, you know you're my guy. And Tori, we're a little too close.
All right, I agree. Do you see I'm like leaning this
Love
way?
that Sam's here.
I'll take the sweet treat. Thank you, Jeff.
That is
You like
nice.
that one?
It was really kind.
Are you jealous of
Yep.
her?
You know
Yeah,
what?
oh, she is.
Jeff did earlier. He called me Sammy.
He did?
He did.
Wow.
And I didn't even realize that it was a
It's a sweet thing
nice
to do.
moment.
Wow.
It's a nice
One
moment.
day you and I will have it.
Yeah. You're my T-bone.
Thanks,
You're
T-Bone.
my
I'll
T-bone.
take
All
it.
right.
I'll take
Enough
it.
complimenting each other. Let's start making fun of people. So 118 million people tuned in to watch Rihanna's Super Bowl halftime show, but not everyone was happy with what they saw. Of course not, right? In fact, more than 100 complaints were made to the FCC, with some describing the performance as pornographic and others saying backup dancers were lewd and way too sexual. Others took offense to Rihanna's touching her butt and crotch area.
Whoa.
So to put this into perspective, Rihanna's halftime show got around 103 complaints, just 103. But the Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson halftime show with the infamous wardrobe malfunction got around 540,000 complaints. There was 1.4 million viewers tuning in. Was that, wait, what was it?
114.
114 million viewers and 100 complaints. And we're doing this story.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Because they're the loudest.
100 people.
I mean, Tori, you hit it on the head. I mean, when we were in our meeting, I looked up people that just looked at the Rihanna performance during the halftime, didn't care about the game.
Right.
As of 9 days, 81 million people have watched it. So that means that they purposely went to go see that. And we're talking about 100 complaints.
Yeah, but just because you complain and you actually picked up the phone, so to speak, or I don't know how you file a complaint.
Probably not like that.
It doesn't mean that we didn't all have those thoughts. So I think we can apply it to every single one of us. I love Rihanna. I couldn't wait to introduce Sophie to Riri, and I remember calling her up, look, Sophie, look. And then when she did do the crotch and the buttocks, I was like, oh, Sophie, look over there.
Right.
So I understand why people would have that. You know, it's supposed to be a family show, but then I checked myself because Michael Jackson performed, you know, decades ago. I remember watching him. He grabbed his crotch. Didn't bother me.
But it didn't bother you, and it didn't bother me. But do you think it would
You weren't a
bother...
mom back then.
But I wasn't a mom back then.
Right,
So
right.
Do you think it would bother your Oma? Opa. Oma.
I don't know. You know, my mom is an Oma now. My mom wrote me and loved Rihanna's halftime show. Thought it was fantastic. So.
Well, here's the thing. I'm like, what is the audience that's watching the Super Bowl, right? It is a lot of families, and grandma's watching it. So should you arrange your show to be more G-rated because of the audience? Now, my question is, if you really wanted a G-rated show, would you have Jay-Z and Rihanna as the Super Bowl halftime? That's where I get confused. Their brand is not G-rated. So are you asking them to just tone everything down and not be themselves?
Yes.
Then why are you hiring Rihanna?
Look, when
She
you
wasn't that bad.
I agree. I'm just saying it from the other point of view. Like,
I've been hired. You're a comic. We're hired often, and in the description they'll say clean show, family show, and I know what that means. No references to drugs, no references to overt sexuality, things like that. I'm not, obviously no one on this panel is offended, no one on this panel complained.
No, not at all.
But I don't want to completely attack the people that are like, hey bro, I'm with my grandmother here, dog. I can understand that. Like, I can really get that. I'm not saying that she should be canceled, or she will. Obviously, she's beloved. She's on the Mount Rushmore people that people love in this country. But I could see somebody having an issue. Jeff, what do you think?
I don't. Here's the thing. Do you understand 114 million, I keep saying 1.4, 114 million, 100 people complained, and we're doing this story? That's not even close to a percentage of people. We need to stop with major corporations, network people. They get 10 emails and they're like, we got to fire this guy because someone's upset.
Completely
Really,
agree.
5 million people tuned in to the show and 10 people are disgruntled. You want to fire that person? We need to stop with everyone's a victim of something. We're missing out on comedy. We're missing out on great television shows, movies, because we're too afraid to offend somebody. I understand we need to correct things in this country, but we need to get back on track and saying, listen, I'm not directly making fun of you. I'm not pointing out your culture or whatever. It's a joke, man. It's a joke.
But can it be too sexualized if children are watching? Shakira and J-Lo had 1,300 complaints.
My kids, and I was telling you at the break, just popped on something, and I have parental control on YouTube, and they said something 50 times worse than Rihanna touching her butt at the Super Bowl. Your kids are going to see it, okay? It's not like you're hiding magazines in the garage like it's the 70s. Your kids are going to see everything, okay? So Rihanna touching her butt, you better get used to it, because your kids are going to see it whether you have parental control or you watch what they watch or not.
That's fair. That's fair.
I like the tail thing she did.
I did too. It's
the tail thing?
feather, I thought.
Yeah,
and I tried to do it, and Brooks said,
I was
"Stop
offended
it."
by that because I'm all into animals and I've changed my lifestyle now.
Okay.
So I'm very
narrative.
offensive to zebras.
Yeah,
and
I
stuff.
liked
Tail
it.
is cool.
Yeah. Brooks told me to not do that ever again when I did it.
I'm with Brooks. On
All
this
right.
one. All right. So it looks like Paris Hilton's family and friends were in the dark about her baby boy. Yesterday, she shared his name, Phoenix Baron Hilton Ream, on her podcast. Paris said she didn't tell her mom, Kathy Hilton, or anyone in the family that she had a baby via surrogate until the baby was over a week old. Imagine that surprise. Have a listen.
It was hard to keep that in because we were so excited and wanted to tell our families. But we were just nervous because if you tell one person, then, they tell someone, and then all of a sudden it's like in TMZ or Page 6. When I introduced my mom to our baby boy, it was amazing to see the look on her face. She was so surprised. Just the look on her face, it was just priceless.
Hey, Ma, you got any chips? I'm here, baby.
She has a very monotone.
Do you think her mom was like, wait, what?
Wait, you have a baby
You
or
have
not?
a baby?
Explain more. She's got that monotone
Can I ask
voice.
you guys a question?
Yeah.
If you were her mom, would you be super offended?
My mother would be super
I would be
offended.
really hurt.
But let me ask you this. Kathy Hilton has already publicly said my daughter's had fertility issues, seemingly without her daughter's approval. And Paris had to say, no, that's not true. So if you have a chatty mom who's on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and likes to talk and maybe say things off the cuff, maybe you don't want to share about your baby. And also, you're Paris Hilton. You've had a lot of privately horrific things happen to you, and your parents were not there for you. She specifically said that to Kathy. I was never able to tell you. You weren't there for me. So I get it. Keeping this private between your family.
Didn't Kathy slip on something that was Paris's business? Didn't we have her on and we asked her about it? I can't put my finger on it, but I could have swore she let the cat out of the bag about something.
She sometimes does, and it's just if she's
so
that
was a great
volatile.
point if it's true.
Yeah,
I
but she
think,
also
too,
said
we just can't relate to the fact that no matter what Paris Hilton does, I mean, paparazzi put little tags on her back like tires to follow her.
Yeah.
So no matter what she does, people, I'm sure, try and hack into her email, her telephone, text messages. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
It's sad that she has to not involve her mom, but we don't know what that's like.
Right.
So
and they both are on in the fame. They're both famous in the fame. They're both famous, so it's different. Like my mom would not speak to me if I didn't tell her.
My mom would be devastated.
Yeah.
But of all the moms, I feel like, with your relationship with your mom is you.
Yeah.
She's boisterous.
Yeah.
She fills up the room. Would you, if this was you, would you tell your mom, just if you wanted to keep it under wraps because you were also worried about TMZ, do you think your mom specifically could do it? And
Yeah.
we love your mom.
Yeah, and I will say in Judaism, there's a cultural thing of like sharing the first 3 months with just the family.
I love that.
And then you're worried about the angel of death coming. It's all spiritual and
I don't love that.
superstitious.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would. But again, my mom's not on the Beverly Hills Housewives.
how do you prevent the angel of death from coming?
You put a red ribbon and tie it on the bottom of the crib.
I would do that.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah.
What about the
Passover.
The
mezuzah.
mezuzah.
The mezuzah.
Yeah, on the
That's
door.
good.
Mezuzah.
The mezuzah is on our gateway and any vestibule to say that we walk through this house as a house of God.
I love that.
I love that.
Oh, yeah, it's
Can I
great.
have a mezuzah
Of
or do I have to be
course.
Jewish?
Sharon got us a mezuzah. We have a good
Really?
mezuzah.
I have a
my
gold
mezuzah.
glitter mezuzah.
Yeah, we
Dude,
have a
there's a
good
great
mezuzah.
Curb Your Enthusiasm about a
The
mezuzah.
mezuzah.
Remember that one?
Yeah, because doesn't he think
We
he
take
thinks
the cross from the Passion of Christ and he uses it. If anyone's offended out there, watch Curb Your Enthusiasm. I'm sorry.
It's not you.
Everyone's all, the Rihanna story and then the tail thing. Everyone's upset.
They're very mad at you.
All right, coming up on DBL, our interview with Howie Mandel. He's telling us all about his funny experience on The Masked Singer, and a woman put her boyfriend on a performance improvement plan.
Sexy.
What? There's a lot of people talking, and we're going to talk about it next.
Our viewers are talking about DBL.
Yes!
I like that.
Leaves me speechless and like blushing.
Thank you, thank you.
That's emotional.
Do I want to sit there and watch them? Yes, I do.
Oh, okay.
But sometimes it really
I try to
into-
make it like that.
Yeah.
So it's not so much like
The Shiva?
So if you want, all my Jewish
criticizing.
knowledge comes from Curb Your Enthusiasm, and right when I was like, oh, what is that? There's a real funny episode. So it's Christmas time.
Oh, yeah?
Right, and so Larry's dad's coming, so he's got to get the mezuzah up on the door before the dad comes in.
Parents are-
Otherwise, he'll be offended.
Yeah, he
right?
would be. My mom would be
then
offended.
Cheryl's parents are Christian, and they have to have a tree, and Larry's upset about the tree, and his favorite show is The Passion of Christ. So he had this necklace, and he goes, this was actually in the movie The Passion of Christ. So the guy who was supposed to put up the mezuzah
Takes the hat.
No, didn't come. So Larry's got to use he's like, I don't have a nail. So it was the nail for The Passion of Christ. So he takes the nail and he puts in the mezuzah. And he gets into all the, and then the guy who's supposed to put in the cross, it's this whole long thing, and it all comes together in the end. The guy's chasing Larry, and he steps on the nail,
And it goes in his
and
foot?
it saves Larry. It's like he makes it so good. Like,
He does
his
all these
storylines.
callbacks, like to
So
start
good.
with the nail.
And he
and
always
stuff.
has like Jewish references, and he makes fun. Like right when you go Judaism,
Yeah.
in my head I go, Judaism, where are you? Remember when, there's another episode with that, but I don't. He just makes me laugh, and I watch it so much.
I think when you talk
It's like,
about
you can laugh at yourself,
right, and
or-
also when you said we're not offending you, we're not doing that. We're missing that type of humor
mi-
in a lot of
and
ways.
That's why Sebastian Maniscalco, like, he grew up not too far from actually where I grew
He
up.
is Jeff.
And
He is Jeff.
But the neighborhood I grew up in and what he talks about, he's making fun of Italians. He's making fun of like the way like we grew up, and it's hilarious. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it, and it's like we're missing that
Yeah.
a lot because you're afraid to offend
And then you become so sensitive. Then everything
We
everything
are.
offends
We're
you.
way
But I do think we're
over-
moving. I do think we're coming back. I do
But
think.
for 100 people to complain about 114,
million,
that's a problem.
Yeah.
Welcome back. A woman is going viral on TikTok after posting a video revealing she had put her boyfriend on a performance improvement plan. Let's take a look.
So my boyfriend and I were having a lot of issues in the beginning, like a lot. And ultimately I felt like we weren't compatible even though we had a lot of love for each other. So as a last straw, we decided to do like a performance improvement plan. And before you come at me, I know it's kind of harsh to some of you, but he's an engineer and sometimes it's really hard to communicate with him without using something that he can already relate to. Plus he kind of liked it.
All right, that kind of brought me the other way because I was not liking it at first. So in the comments, some called it condescending, and others said they would have sent him to therapy. They would have sent him to therapy.
Yeah, see,
maybe I should go to therapy. I don't know.
No, it was a weird thing to say, send him to therapy, and that was kind of.
What does that have to do with him having a business plan?
That's my point. We talked about therapy, and I kind of got yelled at for saying that we're overdoing it with therapy, but that's the default. Send him to therapy for what? I think she's like, I'm with an engineer. Your husband, you know how his mind works. The person that's with me knows how my mind works. Jordan and Brooks know how you work, and it's like some people need it written down. Check this off. Do the garbage. Other people are like, hey, you need to pick it up. You know, the house is a mess, and they know what to do from there. But if you know your person and you give them incentives and rewards, I think people work from that. I don't think it's condescending. I think I'd appreciate. I think a lot of guys are just like, just tell me what to do so I don't mess up anymore.
I'm glad you provided that additional
Yes,
context
for
because
sure.
I had a very visceral reaction of like, okay, this is a control freak. And then when she let us in the fact that he's an engineer and he, like my brother's all spreadsheets.
Yeah.
My brother would love.
He lives in it, yeah.
I've had arguments with my brother and he sent me a spreadsheet, but that's the way he works. I'm not lying.
Right.
So to each its own.
Right. Now here's my only thing.
Communication.
Fine, but is there a spreadsheet for her? What I don't want is that it's always his fault, and I can do it in a cool engineering way, and we can all talk about it. I would like there to be a two-way street here, because I find in relationships sometimes I'm a little like, do this, and I forget I'm 50%, and I also am responsible. So I'd like to see her spreadsheet. Ooh, that came out weird.
I know, yeah,
I know,
that's
but you know what I mean? I just,
And also, here's the other angle that we need to talk about. It's like, I think some people would enjoy this on several levels. I think there is always a power dynamic, whether it's
find it sexy
financial
almost.
or sexual.
I see.
And a dominant and a submissive is always the case in every relationship. I don't care what you say. I don't care if you haven't even defined it out with words. But the fact that she was like, and he kind of liked it, I was like, yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
I get that.
Yeah.
Made this sexual?
No, you can see it.
That's
She's in charge.
definitely sexual.
A
like,
checklist.
Yes, but like if he does what she says, there's probably a treat at the end of it. So it's like, hey, you know, I'm not saying sexual. I don't know what. Maybe she.
No, but I see
maybe she makes him a cake.
I think
whatever.
your mind just works. Like her husband's an engineer with
you don't
spreadsheets, and yours is like, you're gonna do the dishes? You know what I mean?
Is that not an incentive?
Well, that's your incentive.
That's for Al.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm the only one. I'll take it. I'll own that.
Speaking of spreadsheets, all right. Coming up on DBL, Howie Mandel is talking about what it was like behind the scenes on The Masked Singer.
The Masked Singer.
The nation's railroads are under a microscope after the train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio. One viral video with more than 300,000 views claims to show a train in Ohio struggling to navigate bent tracks that are in desperate need of repair. So, let's verify. Does a viral video show real bent train tracks in Ohio? Our sources are Patriot Rail, the Ohio Rail Development Commission, and Scott Typale, a rail enthusiast who posted the original video. We traced the original version of the video to 2017. The track shown is in western Ohio, about 50 miles southwest of Toledo. It's part of the Napoleon Defiance and Western Railroad. Patriot Rail, the owner of the railroad, confirmed to verify that those tracks were real, but they've made significant improvements since the video was shot. The Ohio Rail Development Commission says the work was completed last year. So, yes, this viral video does show real bent train tracks in Ohio, which have since been repaired. The video was also modified to speed up the train's passage along the treacherous tracks. Scott Typale noted that 6 minutes of the train crawling down the track was condensed down to less than a minute. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Are you skeptical of headlines and what you see on social media? We are too. The Verify newsletter helps you distinguish between true and false information by answering your questions. It provides fast facts on trending topics, spotlights major stories, and even includes a daily fun fact for all those trivia buffs out there. Get Verify's fast facts delivered every weekday to your email inbox. Go to verifythis.com/email to check it out.
Welcome back. That was Howie Mandel being unmasked as the Rock Lobster on this week's episode of The Masked Singer. Earlier, we chatted with him all about the big reveal. Check it out.
Please welcome back to the show, Howie Mandel.
So, are you sad you didn't keep going, or are you like, hey, I just had fun? Talk to us.
Devastated. I'm absolutely devastated. Singing and dancing is my comfort zone. And I thought I was amazing. I thought I really set a bar that show has not heard before, or even AGT has not heard before. I think that people kind of shy away from uniqueness. The timbre of my voice, the rhythm I have, the way I move.
Well said.
The timbre
He's a
and
beautiful
texture.
man, and he intimidates people.
He
I
does.
get it.
He intimidates people. You're right. Ken Jeong is known to be the worst guesser out of the judges. He is horrible, but he does not a good job. But he actually guessed you on the first try. Did that surprise you?
No, what surprised me is that nobody else did. I was on Twitter live when the show was on. All of America, anybody that was on social media went, oh, that's Howie Mandel. One note came out, and they went, that's Howie Mandel. I cannot believe that nobody else guessed me. I feel like it was a transparent suit, that lobster suit.
There was no lobster.
And it's very wet on the inside. I'll let you know that. It was murky. I sweat. I lost 3 pounds in one song.
Ew.
So if anybody, instead of taking Ozempic, what you need to do is you need to put on a lobster suit and sing an ABBA song. You want to lose weight.
First of all, somebody will definitely do that.
Yeah.
There's a fetish for that, I feel like.
Don't really listen to Howie Mandel about that, please. He's not a
Speak
doctor.
for yourself.
Well, you want people to take Ozempic? No.
Okay, so Howie, the contestants of The Masked Singer have to follow this really strict security protocol to keep their identity secret. What was the weirdest rule that you had to follow?
Well, we weren't allowed to tell anybody, not even family members. So, me being the consummate professional wanted to get into character. So the night before, I didn't even tell my own wife. And the night before, I lied naked in bed and had her swath hot butter over me. And she said, "What is this for?" And now today, she realizes
now
what
it makes sense.
It totally
makes sense.
Yes.
And now I can wash the butter off.
So, Howie, how did you pick your diet suit, aka the lobster, rock lobster? Do you get to pick that, or do they just give that to you?
They gave it to me. I don't pick it. I didn't pick it. I did not pick it. I never said, they said, "What do you want to be?" I'd never said I want to be a lobster. And lobsters aren't kosher.
They're not kosher.
We're not allowed to eat them. Right. So now having a Jew inside a lobster kind of flips it on
It's a little
side,
ironic.
Right?
What would you pick? If they said, "Howie, you could be whatever you want," what would you pick?
Ooh, good question.
Oh, anything. The beauty for me, and I think people know I'm a germaphobe, anything that wraps me up, doesn't allow me to see anything, touch anything, or have contact with anything, makes me comfortable. That is the most comfortable I've ever been on any show at any time.
That's funny.
Except maybe this show, because I'm on Zoom.
I was just about to say, now I feel uncomfortable.
Well, let me ask you about singing. You're not necessarily known to be a singer, but what was it like singing in front of 400 people? Was it easier, obviously, with the lobster? Was that easier, and do you enjoy singing?
I enjoy singing. Singing is my jam. Singing is my comfort zone. Singing and dancing is what I do. I don't know if you know this. I'm on TikTok. I've got over 10 million followers.
What?
People watch me every day sing and dance for 15 seconds. So the opportunity to do it for longer than 15 seconds was a dream come true.
Nice.
Yeah, singing and dancing. Well, but you see, it says being on the Unmasked on the Singer on your little banner below.
Yeah.
It's Howie Mandel, singer-dancer.
Yes.
Next time you're on, we'll get that right.
That will be your Chiron from now on.
Yeah, the timbre of his voice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I know. We appreciate you, Howie.
And your vibrato.
I know.
And what's wrong with vibrato?
Because you've never said that word in 6 seasons.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry, you don't need to.
Excuse me.
I bring things out in people. That's the beauty of me.
Thank you, Howie. Thank you. We love when you sit.
I'm looking at myself on screen. I look older than Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Way to bring it back. Way to bring it back.
Howie, we love when you stop by. DBL Nation, be sure to catch The Masked Singer Wednesday nights on Fox. We'll be right back. Bye, Howie.
Howie.
Bye, Howie.
A viral TikTok with more than 11 million views claims Disney is replacing Mickey Mouse as its official mascot with Figment, a purple dragon that's considered the unofficial mascot of Epcot. Verified viewer Kristen sent us a message on Instagram wondering if this is true. So Kristen, let's verify. Our sources are the Walt Disney Company, Mousetrap News, and copyright attorney Aaron Moss. The video was posted by Mousetrap News, which describes itself as a satirical website. It regularly publishes fake stories about Disney on its blog and social media and called this article a totally made-up story. The Walt Disney Company didn't respond to our questions, but has made no official announcement about replacing Mickey, who is still prominently featured on its social media. So, no, Disney isn't removing Mickey Mouse as its official mascot. Disney's copyright on the original version of Mickey Mouse from Steamboat Willie expires early next year. This means anyone can use an image of how Mickey looked in 1928 without Disney's permission. But the way he looks now is copyright protected for another decade and is also protected by separate trademark laws. With you at Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
The Sleep Foundation describes sleep inertia as a feeling of grogginess, disorientation, and cognitive impairment when you first wake up. It usually lasts anywhere between 15 minutes to an hour, but in some cases, it can last hours. The cause of sleep inertia is not clear, but it tends to show up in people with irregular sleep schedules. Think shift workers or people who stay up late on the weekends. What can you do about it? Napping can help, but experts say those naps shouldn't be longer than 30 minutes. Caffeine can also help kick off those cobwebs from sleep inertia. All that in addition to healthy sleep habits like limiting screen use before bed and keeping your bedroom cool and dark. And that is Connecting the Dots.
Time is running out to raise the federal debt ceiling and prevent the U.S. from defaulting on its financial obligations. That's pushed debates about how to handle the debt and the deficit to center stage. And we've noticed confusion about the difference between the debt and deficit. Are they just two different words for the same thing? Let's verify with the help of these sources. The answer is straightforward. No, the debt and the deficit are not the same thing. Here's the difference. The deficit is simply a matter of the federal budget. If the government spends more than it takes in, that's a deficit.
In 2022, the national deficit was $1.3 trillion.
But when the country runs a deficit, we still need to pay our bills. So where does the money to do that come from once we're all out of revenue? It comes from borrowing. And when the government borrows money, that creates debt. If every year we keep running a deficit, that debt continues to grow. So whereas the deficit is a fairly simple annual calculation, the debt is a more long-term cumulative one. The current national debt is $31.5 trillion. With your Fast Fact, I'm Casey Decker.
Sandals word of the day is island. Watch DBL every day for a word of the day. Then enter at dailyblastlive.com/sandals for your chance to win a 4-day, 3-night escape for 2 to beautiful Jamaica. The winner will be announced on DBL March 1st.
Welcome back to DBL. Identity theft goes back many years and criminals continue to find new ways to commit fraud. It's time for a security alert sponsored by LifeLock. First, criminals used personal information from people who went missing to acquire new identities. Years ago, identity thieves called victims promising rewards and prizes to access information and also climb through trash looking for bank information. Now the internet is the main way you can become a victim of fraud. So be careful when sharing your personal information online. Of course, if your information has been breached, LifeLock is here to help. LifeLock keeps you and your digital identity secure from cyber criminals. Call 800-481-5578 or visit lifelock.com to learn more. Tori, what were you doing while I was reading that?
I was writing that down. That's good information. That's really good information.
So
taking notes,
studious, right?
Just
that was
taking
very
notes.
good. What was the number again?
It was 1-800-800-513-1563.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's good.
So yeah, that's exactly it. But LifeLock can save you. And I found out my email was on the dark web from a LifeLock type of, yeah.
I've had LifeLock ever since I got my information hacked. It's like, before we started the show, I had LifeLock. Just this is not a commercial. I had it because
it's still good for us.
Yeah, it is. But I got my information hacked when I was in the DR.
It is such a pain.
Mm-hmm.
Such a pain.
So you got to cancel everything.
Yeah, don't say DR.
I know. Don't.
Oh my God.
What's wrong with that?
Just say Dominican Republic. Don't
just
say
say
DR.
Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
I can't. But you clearly knew what I was saying.
Yeah, I know. But that's because you've told
you
this
don't think the
audience
audience
doesn't know. You've
the
told this story a gazillion times, so I knew.
They don't know. Just say Dominican
Wow,
Republic.
Sam comes on the show and starts bossing you around now? I like the DR story, Al. You guys have a great weekend out there.